COPWATCH, policing the police every single day.
Sexual assault victims stack up as arrests lag. By Ann Easker. Staff writer. The Charlotte County Center for Abuse and Rape Emergencies, CARE, served 103 sexual assault victims last year and received 179 hotline calls. Yet, sexual battery cases reported to law enforcement in the county numbered only 33. Arrests for sexual battery were even fewer, at just 18. The situation in Charlotte County is not unusual. Across the nation, sexual crimes are underreported and challenging to investigate, area law enforcement officials stated. In Sarasota County, 82 cases were reported last year, but just 31 arrests were made. For the past 4 years, the arrests per reported crimes in Sarasota County has never been above 40.2%. A lot of the challenges that we have in the sexual abuse cases is the lack of evidence, said Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. Lieutenant John Heck. A lot of times, the victim will wait a day or two to decide if they want to get involved in the process, and any evidence we could have had is gone. Major Paul Richard, with the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, said physical evidence is paramount in sexual battery cases, because there are typically no other witnesses. Then, it becomes a he said, she said scenario. You have one party's perception of an event and the other's party's perception, and they may differ a great deal, he said. Perceptions may be further clouded by the use of alcohol or drugs, which make it difficult for victims to articulate exactly what transpired if their memory of the event is fuzzy. Having said all that, I'm hoping there's going to be a bit of an upward trend, Richard said. I think the public's perception nationally is that this occurs. This still occurs, and it's important that people be heard. Whether or not you used alcohol or drugs voluntarily and you think you've been victimized, we encourage you to make those reports. CARE Executive Director Karen McElhaney said for victims, deciding whether to report the crime is a personal decision. Not every case needs to go to court, it all depends on what's best for the victim. Many know their perpetrator and don't want to ruin the person's life, and many feel like they were also at fault for what happened. They may want to simply keep quiet about it. A lot of times, it's that fear that now everyone will know, and they'll be judged, she said. The court process can be especially long and difficult, which is why many decide in the middle of the process they no longer want to participate, said Assistant State Attorney Jennifer Garchowski. Even if a victim is initially on board, sometimes as the process continues on, as the victim moves on with her life, it's difficult for a victim to go back and relive that day, she said. But I've also had the opposite. I've had very strong victims that I'm amazed at their strength and their ability to make sure this person is prosecuted to the fullest. In depositions, defense attorneys can ask nearly anything about the event or the victim's prior history, and in court, victims have to face their perpetrators and identify them as the one who assaulted them. To avoid traumatizing the victim a second time, prosecutors often try to extend a plea offer that's appropriate for all parties and will resolve the case quicker, without the need for victim testimony. That's unpleasant for any victim, but with sexual assault we take it into consideration a little more, Garchowski said. CARE works to inform victims of their options but never counsels them in any particular direction. If victims go to the hospital for an examination after a rape but don't want to report the crime at that time, they can do it anonymously, and law enforcement will hold onto the evidence for at least 90 days if they decide to press charges. They've already had some of their control taken away from them, McElhaney said. We just provide the information and support. It's really important that they're believed. Sometimes, victims don't contact CARE for 6 months or more after the event. It's all about the brain, the trauma, McElhaney said. The brain tries to protect us, make us feel like we're safe even when we're not. It does take about 6 months before they realize this really happened to me, and we get the phone call saying, "I can't sleep." They're triggered by something they smelled, something they heard. That's why it's really important we get the word out to talk about it. McElhaney said the organization has seen more willingness to talk about the issue in support groups with the growth of the #MeToo movement that started on social media last year. But there's still work to be done. "I think we need to really get the message out about consent, especially with young people," McElhaney said. "You're out drinking, partying, you can't give consent if you're drunk. You can't do that." C.A.R.E.S. Green. Bystander training program is one way to help. The training, offered periodically throughout the county, teaches people to be aware of what's going on around them and gives strategies for taking action if they see something off, like someone putting something in someone's drink. For victims, McElhaney said the most important thing is simply to believe them. "The biggest need is the emotional support, honestly being believed," she said. "They thank us for believing them. They feel their friends, families, they're not there for them emotionally." For the sexual assault victims, that would be the number one. Email, aeasker@sun-herald.com. Police use who may want to retaliate against him physically.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use. And also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.